Waiting is a terrible feeling. It's even worse when you're unsure if your lover will ever come back. The night dragged on, stretching on into eternity. Kojo tried to distract himself, trying to keep himself busy, but nothing could shake off the feeling of dread that had settled in the pit of his stomach. He found himself glancing up at the night sky repeatedly, willing the night will be over, but it refused to cooperate, mocking him with its slow, related march. The thought of Yin enduring 7 nights alone in Fujisawa Mountain kept eating away at him. He can't stay still, pacing back and forth anxiously. The intimate sounds of the mountain only added to his uneasiness. The rustling of leaves, distracted chirping of crickets surrounding amuses in the stillest of nights. The moon rose high in the sky, casting a pale light over the evergreen landscape, illuminating the wisteria trees. The flickering flames of the small campfire as it licked at the woods provided little comfort, casting eerie shadows around him. The thought of his precious snowflower facing whatever demons that lurked in the darkness alone was almost too much for him to bear, leaving him on edge and unable to relax. "Again, you're going to make a hole in the ground with your frantic pacing," came the voice of Tengen Uzui. The sound Hashira had been sitting with Kojo, offering him some much-needed company. However, he had also been watching the flame Hashira pace back and forth for almost 2 hours straight. Uzui can't help but shake his head at the sight of his comrade's reckless energy, his footsteps leaving deep marks on the soft earth beneath. He knew that Kojo was consumed by his thoughts, his mind racing with worries and uncertainties. Stopping his reckless pacing, Kojo took a deep breath before exhaling it slowly. Lately, he's been restless, and it wasn't like him to be such a worried word. "I know," Kojo huffs, before taking a seat on the cold ground, both his legs crossed and his face buried in his hands. There was a moment beside as Uzui's tall figure joined him. "You shouldn't worry yourself so much," Uzui tells him softly. "It isn't good for your health." I can't help it," Kojo sighs. "My sweet flame is out there, all alone, surrounded by demons, and with no one to aid her. Of course I'm going to be worried." The silver-haired male wished he could ease his friend's burden, but all he could do was offer a few words of comfort as he gently gave Kojo a pat on the back in hopes of soothing him. "Well, she's the only candidate, so it makes sense," Uzui said. "Usually demon slayers trained for a year before entering final selection, but Yin-chan only trained for 7 weeks. That's faster than both Konroji-chan and Tokito, who both managed to enter their final selection without undergoing the usual year-long training." The way Uzui spoke of Yin made Kojo feel a sense of pride. Hearing someone else acknowledge his wife's remarkable qualities only referred his own admiration for her. "I have to say, she is a real tough woman. Her staff skills are impressive. Gome is still unable to feel his left side of his face after she hit him with her attack," he said before sitting up. "Also, my right ass cheek is still sore from her smacking it with that bow staff," Uzui says. His casual remark made Kojo laugh heartfully, which seemed to do the trick in lightening up his mood a bit. "Is that so? Yeah, Yin-chan is strong, and you really should start having faith in her. She's proven herself time and time again that she's determined and able to fight alongside the big boys and girls of the demon slaying course." Uzui then grins. "Plus, she's the Oki-ana. I wouldn't be surprised if she freezes every demon on Fujisawa and turned it into a snow mountain," he said. "Just have faith in your wife, Kojo. A mountain full of demons is nothing compared to the amount of flamboyance that girl has." Kojo's courteous Feeling pride that yin belongs to him, and only him, he feels remarkably lucky to have such a strong and powerful woman as his soon-to-be wife. Thank you, my friend. I'm feeling much better now. I guess there's nothing to worry about. Uzui's right. He shouldn't have to worry so much. However, he just prayed that his snowflower was all right and safe. The thought of losing her will never leave his mind. He knew that he had to stay strong and positive, trusting that she should and would come back to him soon. He'd already lost one woman in his life, his beautiful mother, Ruka, and he sure as hell wasn't ready to lose another. Regardless, all Kojiro can do at this moment is wait. Wait for his snowflower to return to him as his golden and red eyes glanced towards Fujisawa Mountain. From a distance, it seemed to mock him. Its tall wooden land, steep, sloping sides and peaks, intimate the beautiful at the same time, with blooming wisteria trees at its slope, whereas its summit is infected with vile creatures that rejected their humanity. For 7 nights, it'll have yin, and Kojiro was willing to wait all day and night if he had to just have her in his arms again. But if she fails to show by the 7th, it would only mean one thing, and he'll kill every demon on that mountain, then burn it to the ground. Gojo, look! Uzui suddenly exclaimed, startling the flame hosher from his thoughts. Kojiro glanced up to see his friend pointing up towards the sky and looking up to see. Snow? It was snowing? Despite there not being a single cloud in the sky, it wasn't even cold outside. Awed, Kojiro held out his hand, feeling pecks of snowflake land in his palm. Is this Yin's doing? He thought. It had to be. However, worry began to flood his mind again. Is this a sign of distress? Is she in danger? Is she struggling with a demon? Is she hurt? God, Kojiro didn't know as he quickly stood, about to charge towards the torii gate entrance, but immediately was stopped by Uzui. You know you can't go in there, Kojiro. It's against the rules. The tall man tells him, with a serious expression on his face. To hell with the rules, is what Kojiro wanted to say, but he held his tongue and only gritted his teeth and clenched his fists in frustration. This was a mistake. He shouldn't have allowed her to convince him into joining the demon slaying course. He should have stopped her, instead of encouraging her to pursue this path. And now only God knows what has happened to her, and he couldn't do anything to save her. What is that? He heard Uzui question. Following his friend's gaze, Kojiro saw odd-looking snowflakes which appeared bigger than the average snowflake. The unique snowflake drifted peacefully from the sky, each one interlocking desire the delicate patterns that glistened in the moonlight. Are these flowers? Uzui pondered, holding out his hand as one landed. Kojiro does the same, taking one into his palms and examining it closely. It was small and shaped exactly like a chamomilla or a tutiba. Camellias are called roses of winter and symbolize perfect love and hope. Now, legend has it, samurai were said to hate camellias, especially the red ones. It's because when they wither, they fall heavily and suddenly go to the ground, much like how a severed head's fallen from the bodies when hacked off a sword. However, for Kojiro, they meant something entirely different, for he remembered just how much his mother loved camellias, and her telling him that in the Honiakadoba, the Japanese language of flowers, camellias had all types of meanings. The white camellias, waiting, the yellow camellias, longing, and the red camellias, love. This is a good sign, as Kojiro felt relief wash over him. His beloved Yin-chan was still alive, and she was letting him know. Only she could conjure up such a display of beauty and bewilderment. As a smile was brought as the sun crossed his lips. He's happy to know that she was missing him just as much. Not even Fujisawa Mountain can keep them apart. Their love was a powerful force that defied all odds and obstacles, uniting them in spirit, even when they are physically apart. With that, his mind is now at ease. All Kojiro has to do now is wait for his beloved Ian.